Let's welcome Tim Kelly from Philly Nations back to Philly Pressbox Radio. Tim, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me back, guys.
All right.
Hey, Tim, we didn't get to see the last inning. What the hell happened in that ninth inning, the bottom of the ninth today?
Yeah, Craig Kimbrell struggled with his control and then ultimately gave up a home run there to Max Muncy to lose the game. So, I mean, the eighth inning was a little more fluky. It's rare Jose Alvarado gives up singles, and Mundo Sosa should have made a play that he didn't. The ninth was just not very good.
What did Bryce Harper do today? Did he have 2 or 3 hits in his second game back?
Yeah, I believe he was on 5 times total today. So he really was excellent today. That's an encouraging sign. Probably the only encouraging sign the Phillies have to take from this series.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 for 3, right? I believe he was.
Yeah, and 2 walks there. You saw him slide in the second. It was a little awkward because he's usually a head first slider and was obviously going out of his way not to slide head first. But having him back in the lineup is obviously huge.
Yeah. Well, I have to ask you, Tim, because this drives me absolutely out of my mind. I love Bryson Stott in the leadoff spot. He goes into just a little bit of a dip. They take him, move him down, and put Kyle Schwarber back in the leadoff spot where he stinks if he's not hitting a home run. Hey, that's just the way it is.
What was the question?
I'm looking for agreement or disagreement.
No, I mean, when Kyle Schwarber, I get when Kyle Schwarber is going well, why you put him there. And you do have an issue with Bryce Harper being back now of you don't want to have all the lefties bunched towards one part of the lineup. So I get that. But honestly, right now, I'd go with neither of them at the top. I would just have Trey Turner hit leadoff. And I would think they'd be better off with Bryce Harper hitting second and having Kyle Schwarber hit cleanup probably right now. But Harper traditionally has hit either third or fourth, and seemingly that's what they're going to stick with now. So I think it kind of just is what it is.
You mentioned Trey Turner. He's been in a bit of a slump of late. What do you expect from Turner this year? And is he going to be, around the 300 mark when it's all said and done?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, this is someone that's one of the best offensive players, whether it's hitting, base running, the total package. He had a great play at shortstop today. He had a home run yesterday. I think people forget sometimes Bryce Harper's first month and a half really wasn't very good with the Phillies, at least relative to his standards. And I think you're seeing that with Trey Turner. Trey Turner has not been a bad player by any means here. He just hasn't been what he was in the World Baseball Classic where he was unconscious and hitting a home run every other at bat. You haven't seen that, but it's a long season. I don't think there's any reason for concern with Trey Turner.
Do you see them trying to work Harper back into an outfield position, or are they going to lock him in at the DH and leave Bohm at first base and Sosa at third base and play it out that way, do you feel?
Well, I think for this season, it's pretty unlikely he's worked back into an outfield spot. He's learning first base, and I've seen him doing it. He's taking it very seriously. So I think down the road this season, late in the season, that becomes more of a possibility. It also depends what you do at the trade deadline. It depends how high you are on Derek Hall. A bunch of different factors with the Phillies right now. But I would say he's a DH for the foreseeable future. And as he ramps up his throwing, which you still need to be able to do it first, even if it's not to the extent it would be in right field, we'll kind of see if that is indeed a realistic possibility this season.
Hey, Tim, what's the latest on Ranger Suarez? Are we hearing that he's getting close to coming back?
Yeah, he pitched in Lehigh Valley last night, and I believe it got cut short because of weather. So by all accounts, everything is going well, and they're building them up. So I'd say probably 2 more appearances is what I would guess before he's back with the Phillies.
The bullpen up until today obviously didn't do very well, but has been pretty solid. Where do you see them going with starting pitching? Are we going to be able to pick that up? They got great outings from Nola and Wheeler in Houston. Nola, I guess, was not bad today. I didn't get to see much of it, but where do they go with 3, 4, 5?
Yeah, I would say Nola and Wheeler are starting to see round back into what they typically are, which to me is not a surprising development. Matt Strom's been pretty good, but he was signed to be a reliever, and I think ultimately you're going to put him back in the bullpen. Bailey Falter's a guy that he has really good endurance. It's just a matter of whether he has two pitches basically. So like I think he could go out there and throw 6 or 7 innings anytime, and that's valuable to a team. The problem is he might give up 4 or 5 runs over those 6 or 7 innings. So I would say for now, Painter or Ranger Suarez would come back, and then you would have him replace Strom, who goes to the bullpen then, and you kind of see what happens down the road with Andrew Painter. And I would say the biggest key right now is figuring out what's going wrong with Taijuan Walker, because he is someone that has been like a pretty solid number 3 or 4 starter for a few teams. His problem has really been sustaining it in the second half of the season. This year, he's been abysmal to this point. So figuring out, is he healthy, and if so, kind of what isn't going right that isn't allowing him to be the pitcher that you gave a 4-year deal in the offseason.
Hey, you mentioned Andrew Painter. Is there anything new on him, when we might see him?
Yeah, I don't think anything's new. He kind of like, as of the last homestand, because I wasn't on this road trip, as of the last homestand, I think he was ramping up the throwing from like every other day to every day, but it's still not like throwing off a mound or building up where you feel like it's imminent. So that's one of those like, hope for the best. I don't want to say expect the worst, but like I don't know that you plan that Andrew Painter is going to come in and make 15 starts for you this season either.
Tim, if you are able to do what you said and get Harper in that first base spot, you move Bohm back to third. Is Sosa the odd man out? Is Bohm the odd man out? Or are you rotating DHs and somebody going to play in the outfield?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of everything. Like even if he plays first, I don't think it's going to be every day, but it gives you a chance some days to get Castellanos or Kyle Schwarber in at DH, or whoever you would want at DH. They did Trey Turner the other day. So you have a chance to do that. I think Alec Bohm is not a very good fielder at either first or third base, but you could put him back at third base on days Harper plays first base. Sosa is an excellent middle infielder, but he's really had some issues at third base this year. Today it was catching the ball. He kind of seems not quite comfortable with that throw from third. So I don't doubt that he's someone that can shape up, but he is more of a middle infielder. So I'd say if Harper is able to play first base at any point this year, it becomes kind of a mix. And who knows if you add a first baseman or someone else, another outfielder, or kind of a guy that does a little bit of both at the trade deadline.
Well, Tim, we talked to all of our guests about this, the baseball guests that we have. What are your thoughts about the rules changes, the pitch clock, the banning of the shift? How do you like these changes?
I've liked it a lot. The banning of the shift to me has been excellent in terms of improving the product of the game. Whether like there's a discussion to be had about whether like a major leaguer should be able to adapt to the shift, but ultimately watching all these left-handed hitters specifically come up and constantly hit into an infielder playing in right field, it was not like aesthetically pleasing to watch. And the NFL, the NBA, all other major leagues have made changes to improve offense, and I think that this isn't any different. The pitch clock to me has been excellent and much needed. Games are about half an hour shorter, and I think that is the sweet spot. So I've liked the rule changes this year quite a bit.
Nice.
Well, and you didn't touch on the bases. It looks like the stealing is up, and to me that's kind of fun. I like to see running the bases and creating situations that can make plays.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. I think statistically it has been that hasn't, I don't think, been quite as obvious when you're watching games, depending on what team you're watching. Like, it's obvious the games are shorter. It's obvious the shift has been restricted pretty greatly. I don't think it's quite as obvious to someone that like just watches one game a week or something that base stealing's up. That's something that's a little more like in the minutia, I guess.
Well, Tim, prediction time. Phillies back under 500 again. Are they going to be a playoff team again this year, do you think?
Yeah, I do. I think literally last Friday and Saturday, I was like, wow, this team's really rounding into shape. Bryce Harper's coming back. The bullpen looks good. Your top two starters are starting to look good. all the guys you had questions about in the offseason, Castellanos, Bohm, Stott, Marsh, they're all hitting. Like, this team looks really good, and then they had lost 4 in a row. So
Yeah.
they benefit from the off day tomorrow. You get back and try to take care of the Red Sox and the Blue Jays during a small homestand. So I always thought this was a team that's like second or third wild card in the NL, and I still think that.
I have to ask you about Brandon Marsh. How surprised are you at how well he has played? And man, every night he's hitting the ball somewhere.
Yeah, he's been excellent. He's had a few like strange plays in the field, but generally he's a good fielder out there. And the fact that you have him now with Harper back and you're still hitting Stott a little higher, that he's hitting 7th or 8th in your lineup, you're in really good shape. And it's kind of scary to think about, like, if you get Derek Hall back, if you add someone at the deadline, like how deep this lineup could potentially be. Because even as is, the names in the lineup are pretty scary. Like, I think you watch games against the Dodgers and you're like, wow, it's brutal to have to go through Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman. And the Phillies maybe don't have a 1-2 that is that good, but they have one of, if not the deepest lineups in baseball.
Yeah, we're certainly very pleased with what we've seen from Marsh, Bohm, Stott, pretty much Castellanos, of course. Who's been the biggest disappointment this season?
Oh, that's a good question. I think, like, in terms of the team overall, Taijuan Walker's probably been the biggest disappointment. Lineup-wise, nobody really like JT Realmuto and Trey Turner have been slower than what they typically are, but none of it is like so. Neither one of them is batting 120 either. So it's nothing that's so concerning that it feels like it's going to derail the season.
Back to the bullpen for just a second. Are you satisfied with the guys they have? Take away the last couple nights. Do you like what you see out there and the way they're being used?
Yeah, generally, until the last couple of nights, I think it's gone very well. Gregory Soto, until last night, had been excellent. Sir Anthony Dominguez had rounded into shape. Craig Kimbrell had, and Jose Alvarado has been one of the best shows in baseball this season. So, yeah, until the last couple of nights, I felt like this is maybe the strength of the team, and that's with a strong 1-2 in the rotation and with some really good pieces in the lineup. The bullpen, to me, you just have so many more guys that can pitch in high leverage situations than you did last year. They were so reliant on Alvarado and Sir Anthony Dominguez last year in the playoffs, and I think by the time you got to the World Series, those two were kind of out of gas. The hope is, even if Craig Kimbrell is not what he once was, I think outside of like 2 appearances, he's generally been good. Gregory Soto, pretty much the same thing can be said in terms of he's been really good outside of a couple appearances. And if you get Strahm back in the bullpen, like you have depth in that bullpen, and it's just improved tenfold from what it was a year or two ago.